You may have heard this. You may have seen the interview, and this got pretty controversial, where Michael J. White said that he could beat Bruce Lee.
Saying you could beat Bruce Lee?
Really? Bruce Lee is 132 pounds. I outweigh him by 100 pounds.
Hey guys, welcome to Volume 5 of the Q&A with Steven Lambert. Now, I don't know if you heard, but he wrote this book, From the Streets of Brooklyn to the Halls of Hollywood. It's full of amazing stories. I'm going to link it in the description below if you want to pick it up from Amazon. I might have mentioned it in prior videos. But in this episode, we're going to talk about Michael J. White when he said he could beat up Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Big mistake.
We're going to talk about 80s and 90s action movies compared to today's action movies, and we're also going to talk about women in action films. So all that and more, you won't want to miss it. If you want to help support the channel, please click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and let's get to it. You may have heard this. You may have seen the interview, and this got pretty controversial, where Michael J. White said that he could beat Bruce Lee.
Saying you could beat Bruce Lee?
Really? Bruce Lee is 132 pounds. I outweigh him by 100 pounds.
So this guy wants to know, what's your opinion on that? Now, obviously, Michael J. White's a pretty big guy, you know, compared to Bruce Lee.
Oh, size matters, baby.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you think about that comment, and what do you think about the legitimacy of that comment?
I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee. I
course.
love Bruce Lee. He's an idol of mine. I know nothing about Michael White, but what I've seen a couple of times on film, nothing personal. He does a lot of films. I haven't really seen a lot of stuff he's done. I'm very busy, and I don't watch a lot of new stuff unless it's Donnie Yen or something that has to do with Bruce or something to that effect, unless I happen to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't comment about that. All I know is what I said. And he was pound for pound, you know, in the movies, he was one bad dude. Out of the movies, I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
But the knowledge Bruce had, nobody could do better. The knowledge he had, nobody could do better.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time, definitely, you know. And I think it's probably had stemmed from his philosophy background and major in college.
Yeah.
Just different way of looking at things, you know, with a very open mind.
You know, I watched things when I was a kid. I did things when I was a kid in martial arts and Kung Fu. That's my style, my main style.
Mm-hmm.
When I was first taking it. And then I saw Bruce Lee, and I read his writings, and I understood more and more and more what I had learned. And then he showed me what I learned and how to put it to practice for the movies and the real life. So, you know, and he's done that to an awful lot of people. You know.
Wait, what do you mean he showed you? You mean just from watching and reading him, or not like in person, obviously, because you never actually met him, right?
If you have an open mind, if you understand, watching him and reading him is like him teaching you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I read, there's like a really good quote I read that essentially, you know, from someone who's passed away, like if you're reading their book, you're literally like having a conversation with the dead, essentially, you know.
Especially if you understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
If you've been involved in what he's talking about. But Michael White, you know, I know nothing about him. I know he's 5 times the size as Bruce.
Yeah, he's got the size advantage. I think he's got like 7 different black belts in different martial art styles. I know he trains with like a lot of, you know, MMA guys. Like he trained with John Jones and, you know, some other guys. And now Michael J. White did wish he never made that comment about Bruce Lee. Now he still thinks he can beat Bruce Lee, but it basically opened the floodgates to a lot of comments coming his way.
Oh, I wish I didn't say that shit. Because he's my hero too.
Yeah.
But I said that against people's hero, and they weren't supposed to hear that. I hate that I said it, but it is the truth.
Might as well just double down at this point. Realistically, though, having a near 100-pound advantage and being extremely highly skilled, you kind of got to give it to him. With that said, I wonder what Bruce Leroy has to think.
I seen cats that are different weight classes like that knock out big guys, you know? So that has nothing to do with it. Weight has nothing to do with it. There's some guys 5'6", 140 pounds, kick you in your nuts. Good night.
He makes a great point, but I think in a sanctioned bout, you might have to give it to Michael J. White realistically. But in the street, anything goes. Bruce Lee could jab his eyes, kick him in the balls, do whatever he needs to do to win, essentially.
Sweep the leg.
That'll help too. I will say this, though. He, you know, unfortunately, just like Scott Adkins, doesn't put out the best movies. He also did, and I did a video on this, like a Welcome to Sudden Death, a follow-up to Sudden Death, kind of like a remake. Horrible, unfortunately. But you know, it's just unfortunate that they make like a lot of movies that aren't good that these
Because
days.
they make mistakes, like I said, the script
Yeah.
and the people that they hire behind the scenes, the heads. You know, it's important. It's important, very important. To make a good product, you need a good team. It's as
Definitely.
simple as that.
You need the right ingredients. So this relates to the next question. John G wants me to ask you what you think about action movies today compared to the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, the only thing I object to is too much CGI, too much cables, too many harnesses. I don't like that because it makes you a big phony.
You're a phony! Hey, this guy's a great big phony!
Yeah, and like when I watch those movies, why I'm not a fan of the wire work and other stuff. It just, you could tell the physics are off. So just it takes you out of it. It's like this doesn't, you know, it's just something like even subconsciously, like this isn't real. I mean, I know we're watching movies and it's not real, but you could tell when somebody's performing or doing a stunt or even martial arts, like if it looks realistic, then it's nice to see on film. And when it just look, wait, these physics are all off, it just kind of takes you out of it, you know?
And I love those movies. I mean, The Matrix, I watched it.
So it works in The Matrix because in that world they can do those things. So it works in that kind of movie like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But in an action movie like Revenge of the Ninja, if they were doing these things on wires and stuff, then it kind of takes you out because that just takes place like in our reality where physics in our world should apply to the movie world, you know?
Right. And as far as a movie, you know, what I always believe, I mean, I've used cables, I've used harnesses, you know, but 99% of the time, I don't, you know.
Yeah.
I understand some people want to, some people it calls for, some people don't want to. I just think when you're doing something, if you could take it that 1-2 steps above the normal and do it for real, it makes it different. And people understand that. It takes away when you're doing something, unless you realize that it's a pure fantasy, it takes away from what you're doing and the thrill of it and the knowledge of it and what's going on in the scene if you do it a fake way.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you know it's a fantasy, like the Matrix.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then the second part, this seems to be a common theme, a lot of people. Who are some of your favorite current action stars? So, okay, so I guess we really talked about the older guys like Sonny Chiba. You know, you got any favorite current ones, though? I guess younger dudes. I guess you respect Scott Adkins, it sounds like, is one of the better ones, definitely.
I like Scott Adkins, and I'm surprised when he did the Yip Man, the last Yip Man. I'm surprised that the Hong Kong people didn't try to give him a different personality. Because maybe they didn't, maybe he couldn't do it. I don't know. I've never talked to the guy, never met the guy.
Sure.
You know, but I'd like to see him, like I said, you know, get more of a personality to do different things. You know, laugh once in a while, smile once in a while, get loose once in a while. You know, crack a joke once in a while. You know, do something abnormal once in a while.
You know, this just reminds me because someone asked me on the video, and so Scott Adkins has a YouTube channel. He's got this series called Art of Action, and he talks to, you know, martial arts stars mainly. And I actually messaged him on Instagram, letting him know, like, I've had people on the channel, and I had a great interview with a great stuntman, fight coordinator on the Quest, Steven Lambert. So he's got like over 2 million Instagram followers. So I don't know if he's ever going to see my message, but the guy that asked me to ask him, hey, ask Scott Adkins, like I know Scott Adkins, like ask Scott Adkins to interview Steven Lambert. I said, yeah, that'd be great because he's got a bigger audience. So I would love Steven Lambert to get a bigger audience. So I said, you direct message him too. And if a lot of people flood his box wanting you on there, then that would be great. But what?
I refuse unless he agrees. The interviewer is David. You. I'll do it with you. Nobody else.
Me, you, and Scott Adkins?
That's right.
That'd be a hell of a trio. Viking Samurai, Silver Mask Ninja, and Yuri Boyka. Viking Samurai fan out, by the way. Special shout out to Instagram, Sam Weller Illustrations 2099. I'll put his information in the description below if you want to check him out. He's got a lot of really cool artwork on his Instagram page there. Oh, that'd be incredible.
Scott, when you see this thing, if you happen to see it, put us on.
Yeah, get me on there too, Scott Adkins. We'll talk Art of Action with Steven Lambert.
I'm more than happy to explain it, reiterate it again, that you're a gifted guy. You know, just listen to my advice. If you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to. But it'll make you a better actor.
Yeah, no, I would love to see him getting better movies, you know?
Yeah, hiring the right people. That's all it's about. Not friends.
Sure.
Not people cheap. Not people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. All right. Oh, here's an interesting one. Mike Hartley says, ask you what you think of the majority of action stars these days being women.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I love to look at women. You know, you know, I've told this to my son many times and many people. There's nothing that excites me more in my body and in my head than seeing a woman fight and do athletic stuff. That's so exciting and very sexy.
Interesting. Yeah, because my thing, like if I had to have
Lucinda Dickey
from Ninja 3 Domination, right? That's her? Yeah, right.
Hell of an athlete. But no, I love women in martial arts. Love the women in you know, Michelle Ewan, Asian actress. Love.
Yeah, okay.
Always had a crush on her.
From Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, she does good work. Obviously, Cynthia Rothrock, right?
Cynthia, very, very wonderful talent.
What a body. Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, really.
Very good look into what she does. No, I love watching martial art women.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Sure, yeah. All right, I gotta chime in here about the women in action films. So I love a strong female lead if it makes sense. Someone like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2, someone like Hilary Swank in $1 Million Baby, those are great. What I have a problem with is when Hollywood feels the need to basically meet a quota and remake these classics like Ghostbusters with women, or when they were talking about Roadhouse with Ronda Rousey. No offense to Ronda Rousey, she's a great fighter. I'm sure she could absolutely destroy a lot of guys, but let's be honest here. If you're going to make a movie about like the greatest bouncer in the world, it should be a guy, and that's not being sexist, that's just being honest, right? Come on.
You know, for that line of work, I thought you'd be bigger.
Gee, I've never heard that before.
And then as far as Ghostbusters go, I'm pretty sure like if a group of friends developed a business where they're busting and capturing ghosts, it just makes more sense that it's going to be guys because that's more of a guy thing. We're more into ghost busting than women. And again, you know, before you call me a sexist, like just think about it realistically. I got a lot of shit for this kind of stuff when I was in college, especially my women in film studies, when the professor used to talk shit about, you know, Pretty Woman, which I didn't care, you know, talk shit about Julia Roberts and her portrayal of women. But when she started talking shit about Rambo, that's kind of when I lost it.
You fucking bitch.
Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to comment below. Do you think we need to make strong women leads from like an original idea? Or are you fine with that they just rehash these movies, do remakes, and then just substitute women in there to simply meet a quota? Also comment below if you think Bruce Lee or Michael J. White, who wins that fight?